And now we're going to be talking about how to measure a garment. This is crucial for clients who are actually trying to figure out, instead of body measurements, maybe you want to replicate a garment. Let's say, for example, you bought a hoodie or a board shorts from somewhere and you're like, wow, I really like the fit of this, but I want to sort of get the same fit for my own brand. So what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to do something called a lay flat, where we're going to lay the garment flat on the floor, and then we're going to show you how to measure all the different areas that we need as a manufacturer so that you provide us with the relevant information and we can get the right cut and fit for you too. So let's get started.
All right, so today we're going to be measuring a one-piece swimsuit, and what you're going to need is a flexible tape measure and a ruler. So what we do with the ruler is we put it at the top so that we can measure our front neck drop. Then we're going to be measuring our width, shoulder strap, front armhole, back armhole, zipper length, chest, waist, hips, side seam, total garment length, front leg opening, back leg opening, crotch. Then when we flip it over, we're going to be measuring the back length as well as total garment length and back drop. Okay, so we're going to start top down. So first things first, we're going to measure between the shoulders. I have a partner helping me. So, okay, shoulder width is 17. Then we're going to do the actual strap seam, 3 cm. Then we're going to take our ruler and we're just going to leave it where it is and go for the neck drop, 14 cm. Now this is a little bit of a tricky one. What we're going to do is anytime you're measuring a curve like the arm or the leg, you want to actually hold your tape measure vertically, okay? So what you're going to do is you want to follow the curve, okay? So seam to seam, and we've got 20 cm, okay? The zipper is 19. Chest width, 33. Waist is 32. Hips are 33. Okay, then we're going to go from the neck all the way down to the crotch, and we've got 46. Then we're going to do the leg opening, the front leg opening. Again, your tape measure is going to be vertical. Okay, so you just want to make sure you follow the curve. And we've got 24. Okay, that's everything for the front. We're going to flip it over now. Okay, so now we've flipped the garment over and we've made sure it's flat again. So again, at the back arm, we're going to have the tape measure vertical. And our measurement there is 19. Then from there, we're going to get the side seam, which we've got 22. Now to get this measurement, this is your back drop. So you're just going to go from the top of the front to where you want the bottom of the scoop to be. So that's 15.5 centimeters. We're always working in centimeters. Just remember that. Okay, then we've got the leg opening. Again, for this is actually a pretty straight leg opening for the back, but you do want to put it vertically. The tape measure is easier to move that way, and the measurement we have there is 24. Now, for the back measurement, sometimes you can actually have swimwear where the crotch seam actually is sewn, it actually wraps around. If that is the case, what we would ask is you take the measurement from the bottom of the scoop to that seam. So let's say that seam is here, that's the measurement you would give us. Then you would give us an additional measurement from the seam to the bottom of the garment. Okay, so sometimes you might need an additional measurement there. In this case, our seam is directly at the center, so we're just going to go right to the bottom of the swimwear, and our measurement is 31. Then we have the crotch opening, which is 7.5. And total garment length. So we're going to go right from the top of the strap or even from the ruler and all the way down to the bottom, and we have 60 centimeters. And that's everything for your swimwear. Okay, so here we have a pair of men's swim shorts that we're going to be measuring. So what we're going to be measuring here is the waistband, both relaxed and expanded. I'll show you how to do that. The distance between the edge of the shorts to the pocket opening, the total garment length from the top of the waistband right to the bottom, the side split, the leg opening, the thigh, the inseam, and the crotch. Okay, so again, we're going to start from top down. So your waistband height, that is 4 centimeters. Then just go straight down the center. So you're going to go from below the waistband all the way down the center. Now don't forget that when you are actually wearing swim shorts, there is a slight curve. So you do want to follow that curve. Okay, so we've got 26 centimeters there. Then we're going to go to the edge of the garment. So top of the waistband all the way to the bottom. And we've got 37 centimeters. Then pocket opening. Okay, you're going to go from below the waistband to the edge of the side seam is 16 centimeters. Then we'll go down to the bottom here and your slit is 4 centimeters. The leg opening. All right, so you just want to measure from the side seam to the edge of the garment, and that is 33. Then you have the inseam. You want to lay the garment a little bit flat, so you're going to go straight from the center of the crotch to the bottom of the garment, and that is 11 centimeters. And this is one sometimes people get a little bit confused on, is the thigh. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that your tape measure is actually parallel to the bottom opening. You don't want to go like this or like this. It is parallel to this, so you have a nice rectangular panel here, and that is your thigh. And for that we have 32. And that's everything for the front. So here we flipped over the garment, and what we're going to be measuring here is the back crotch and the pocket measurement. So we're going to measure the flap, the pocket size, as well as the distance between the center seam to the edge of the pocket, as well as the drop of the pocket. Okay, so we're going to start off with the pocket here. So you're just going to measure from the bottom of the waistband to the top of the pocket for your positioning, and that's 7 centimeters. Then you're going to want to do the same from the center seam to the side of the pocket. There we have 9.5 centimeters. The flap is 5 centimeters. Okay, then depending on your pocket, if it has Velcro or a button, what you can do is you can actually open that up, and you want to take the measurement directly from the top of the pocket all the way to the bottom. We have 13 centimeters there, and then the width of the pocket as well. So that one is 13 centimeters also. Now for the last measurement here, it's going to be for the back seam. Now what you have to remember here is this seam actually does come around to the front. So you need to make sure you include this. So this one's a little bit more tricky, but you're going to hold your tape measure at the bottom of the waistband, come all the way down, okay? And then you can either wrap the tape measure around to the front, so we get 35 centimeters. So that's one option. Or you can adjust the garment. So you actually just pull it flat so you can fully see the seam. Okay. Now when we take this measurement, we should get the same as the previous 35, which we do. And there you have the back of your garment. So the next garment we're going to be measuring is a crew neck sweatshirt. So what we're going to be measuring here is the back neck drop, the front neck drop, the rib trim, the shoulder width, the sleeve length, the ribbed cuff, the armhole, chest width, bottom hem height, and the actual back of the garment and front of the garment you can measure directly while still having it in its front position. From the back here to the bottom, all the way to the bottom? Okay, all the way to the bottom, and then as well from the bottom of the neck trim in the front to the bottom. All right, so to get the back neck drop, we're going to use our trusty ruler again. And so our measurement here is going from the ruler to the top of the rib. That's 2.5 centimeters. Then while this tape measure is still here, we're going to do the front neck drop, which is 8 centimeters. Okay, now we're going to take the measurement of the width of the neck as well, and that goes from the edge of the trim to the edge of the trim. Okay, so our measurement there is 15 centimeters. The trim itself on this sweater is 3 centimeters. Okay, I'll get to this part in a minute. That's a little bit of an extra explanation. Now, this actually has what's called a forward shoulder. So generally your shoulder seam is right on the top. In this case, it's not. So we're going to need 2 measurements here. We're going to get the shoulder measurement, which is 18. Then we're going to need to know this part, how big this is. So we're going to need to know that height, and that is 5 centimeters at the edge, and at the collar is 4 centimeters. Okay, now because we've got a shoulder seam here, an armhole, we're gonna again put our tape measure on its edge and we're gonna follow the curve. Now because this is a sweatshirt, generally with this style of garment, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a hoodie, the armhole on the front and the back are the same. It's usually only woven wear garments where they may differ. So in this case, you actually only have to provide the front armhole, which is 29. Okay, now before I get to the lower half of the garment, because this sweater actually does have this detail, what we're gonna need to know here is the width of this, which is 8 centimeters. And then the length, so you're gonna go from the bottom of the rib to the center point, and that is 5.5 centimeters. Okay, moving along here, we're gonna go chest. So bottom of the armpit to the other armpit is 60 centimeters. Okay, going all the way down to the bottom hem, kind of jumping around here a little bit, but that's okay, is 55 centimeters. Okay, now, like I said, is you don't actually have to flip over the garment to get the body length. So what you do is go from the bottom of the neck trim, okay, all the way down to the bottom of the garment, which is 69. That's going to give us our back length. Then we're going to just pull the tape measure down to the bottom of the front trim. And then that's going to give us our front length, which is 62 centimeters. We're going to shift over to HPS, high point shoulder. Okay, so we're going to go there all the way to the bottom of the garment, and that is 72. And the last measurement is the sleeve. So you're just going to measure the outside of the sleeve and just walk your tape measure along, and there we have 57.5. And the last measurement is the cuff. So this sleeve has a 4 centimeter ribbed cuff. Sometimes your bottom waist rib might be different. In this case, it is 4.5 as well. Cuff opening, sorry, I forgot the cuff opening. Okay, thank you. So the cuff opening is 8 centimeters. And I think that's all the measurements for your sweatshirt. Okay, so here we have a girl's dress. There's a lot more measurements on this that we're gonna need, but I'll run through it. So what we're gonna be measuring is the neck drop, the bodice length, armpit to armpit, waist to waist, the shoulder seam, the frill, the armhole, the sleeve length, the elastic, the edge from the elastic to the end of the sleeve opening, the skirt length at the center, the skirt length at the edge, and the bottom hemline. Okay, so what you're going to do with this one is we're going to take our ruler, and because there's a frill, you actually need to bring the ruler to the edge of the garment, not where the frill is. Okay, and then this is how we're going to get our neck depth. So again, tape measure to the top of the garment. So we have 6 centimeters. Then we can measure the frill while we're up here. That's 2 centimeters. Then we're going to take our shoulder measurement. So this is from seam to seam. That's 4 centimeters. Okay. The total length of the sleeve. Okay. You want to keep this in the relaxed state. And what we have there is 22 centimeters. Okay. Now, because this actually has this elastic in it, we're going to take that measurement as well. That is 9 centimeters. And this one flares out a little bit. So what we're going to do is you're going to want to follow the curve. Okay, so with this one, we have 19 centimeters. All right, you have another armhole here. So this is where you're going to turn your tape measure vertically again. Okay, and you're going to want to make sure you follow the curve, and our measurement there is 14. The front bodice length is 11 and a half. Okay, and then armpit to armpit, the width here, that's at the bottom of the shoulder seam, is 29. And then you can see it tapers in a little bit here, so you definitely want to give us that measurement as well, which is 27. I think I've covered everything on the top of this garment. Now we're going to go down to the skirt. Oh, I forgot the neck. Okay, sorry. So what we're going to do here is we're going to measure the actual curvature here. Is this a vertical one? It's a vertical one. Okay, so again, I guess with any curves, it's generally easier to put your tape measure on its edge and stand it up so it is vertical. Okay, and there we have 20 centimeters. All right, now we're going back down to the bottom of the skirt. So you're going to measure it from the center, and we have 31 centimeters. Now, sometimes depending on the style of the skirt or the size of the opening, it sometimes can be a different length at the side. So we just want to take that measurement as well. And in this case, it is 31 as well. And then we're going to go with the total length. Because this isn't a sharp curve, I'm going to just take the tape measure and you slightly pivot it. Okay. And the measurement we have here is 57. That's all the measurements for the front. We're going to flip it over and show you how to do that. Okay, so here we have the back of the garment. Now, when we're using a woven fabric, the armhole is going to be different from the back to the front. So you want to make sure you provide us that measurement as well. Again, with the skirt as well, is sometimes you could have a longer skirt in the back. So you want to give us that measurement. So again, we're going to measure the skirt length, the armhole, this curvature here, the actual drop from the neck to the zipper, as well as the zipper length and the side seams again. Okay, so first we're going to get the back neck drop. So we're going to go from the seam here to the top of the bodice, and that's 10 centimeters. Then again, for the armhole, we're going to turn our tape measure on its edge, and you're going to follow the curve. And for that, we have 12. Now, because this isn't actually a really sharp slope, we can do this one with the tape measure flat. Where you see yourself getting to a slight curve, what you're going to do is just put your thumb there and pivot the tape measure slightly. Okay, so we get 16 centimeters there. The zipper length, because this is a tone-on-tone zipper, it's a little bit difficult to find, but you can just put your thumb at the bottom, okay, and then measure to there. That's around 18.5 centimeters. Okay, the back skirt length is 32. And then one measurement I did forget to mention, which is always very important, is the total garment length. So that is going to go from HPS, high point shoulder, all the way to the bottom of the garment, and that's 47. And that's everything for this dress.
There you have it, folks. That's how you provide the measurements to your manufacturer. Don't forget, lay your garment flat on the floor. Take a top-down view with your phone camera. Take a photo. Move over to your computer, laptop, whatever. Draw all the points of measure, POMs, that's what we call it. And that's actually all the measurements that you want to give to your manufacturer so that we can replicate the exact cut and fit that you want of that perfect garment you want to replicate for your brand. Now, if you found this episode useful, like and subscribe down below. And thanks again for watching another episode of Clothing Made Easy. I'm your humble host, Tanner Kiley Carslan, and I'd love to see you next time.